These are Spirit Fingers, and this week on The Verdict, we review teen flicks from the 2000s. Welcome to The Verdict. I'm Jeralyn Johnson.
I'm Paul Michael Schuhart.
And I'm Marissa England. Bring It On is a 2000 American teen cheerleading comedy film directed by Peyton Reed and written by Jessica Benninger. The film stars Kirsten Dunst, Eliza Dushku, Jesse Bradford, and Gabrielle Union. It was the first of the Bring It On film series and was followed by 5 direct-to-video sequels, none of which contained the original cast members, which is a shame. Bring It On was released in the theaters in 2000. Bring It On earned a worldwide grossing of approximately $90 million. Since its release, the film has become a cult classic. Let's take a look at this cheerocracy.
Let's hear it for the 5-time national cheerleading champions, the Mighty Toros! Bang, bang, choo-choo train, let me see you do your thing.
You are cheerleaders. Cheerleaders are dancers who have gone retarded.
Jan's got spirit. How about you?
Dude, you just lost.
Ever been to a cheerleading competition? We're the best. We have fun, we work hard, and we win national championships.
We have a problem.
About what? You ripped off those cheers. We've had the best squad around for years, but no one's been able to see what we can do. We're in trouble. But you better believe all that's gonna change this year.
I swear I had no idea.
Do you think a white girl came up with those moves?
This isn't about cheating. This is about winning.
Can we just beat these Buffies down so I can go home?
We might have to have a rumble.
I'll take Famous Losers for $200. Shut up, moron!
You wanna make it right? Then when you go to nationals, bring it. That way, when we beat you, we'll know it's because we're better.
I'll bring it. Don't worry.
Come on, let's go get it on.
We need a new routine, something amazing and fresh.
We've been saying we're the best. Now it's time to put up or shut up.
Let's do this.
Maybe we should join the squad.
So, did this movie bring home the trophy for you?
They all did. What are you talking about? I think they are cult classics. I mean, I grew up watching them, like Kirsten Dunst. Like, everyone wanted to be a cheerleader after watching Bring It On. You were like, oh my gosh, like that looks so much fun. And then, I mean, I can't get enough of them. I mean, they just progressively got worse as they kept going. But I love that they had different stories for each movie too. So that was something that I really loved about them.
I'm just appalled that like there's no sense of like following up.
Right.
You know, like there's no sense of like some characters going into the other movies because in like in similar movies like Step Up, for example, with the dancing movies, they at least have some similar characters, so you get a sense of like, okay, we're still in the same place just with this different storyline. All the Bring It On movies, in my opinion, was just like wham bam bam, like you have no continuity there.
Right, and they had like no like I'm trying to think of the word. They didn't have like a stable like storyline for any single one of them. It was like kind of like they pulled it out of their butt kind of thing. Like, well, let's see what we can do now. And one of the things that bothered me, like I think the most recent one, I think it was the last one with Christina Milian. That one was garbage. The first one's the best one, and then after that they all get bad. But then like I love the first one and the third one the most. Like one with Hayden Panettiere. It's a great one. It's a great one.
Between this one and I would probably say the last one that we're going to cover, like you very much get that essence of what 2000s movies were. They were all comedy. They were all essentially like this drawn out, exaggerated rom-com almost.
Yeah.
Because like you have the cheesy romance in most of these movies, or like you have like the guy that like underestimates the girl, and then like she shows up and she's like, wham bam bam, I'm great.
Yeah, I think another thing that's really cool about it is that it was very like not women empowerment, because I think we've gotten better about it now, but I think it was like the rise of women empowerment. Like you were like, women can do all things, whatever they want to do, we can do it, you know?
Especially in Bring It On, because Bring It On really challenged those stereotypes kind of,
right,
as opposed to like the other two movies, with the exception of Legally Blonde.
Right.
Because like she's like, oh yeah, like I'm pretty and I'm smart, and like, wow, law school. But then in Bring It On, you have all these male cheerleaders.
Right, and I thought
they're
that was
having
really cool
to deal with all that discrimination. And I think that was really cool that even in the 2000s, like that was being an addressed issue. Like,
yeah,
like the LGBT community just in general. Because I was like, because I'm not even gonna lie, like I'm probably about to make some people feel really old right now. I was 1 when this movie came out.
You were 1?
I was born in 99, June of 99. I might not have even been, wait. No, I had just turned 1, like 2 months prior. I was young when this movie came out. So like the fact that it was an issue then, but at least it was being addressed then, is pretty cool.
Yeah, and they continue to still do that. One of the things that I really, really liked about it too is like the more that they did go on, they did incorporate some of the gay male cheerleaders and stuff. I thought that was really, really cool, because you don't see that in a lot of movies. Because people are like, oh, all the male cheerleaders are gay, but then, well, actually he was gay, but then he was like, oh yeah, psych guys, I totally lied, and you're like, what?
The whole car scene between like Missy and Torrance, where they were addressing like the gay cheerleader situation. He's like, I am extremely straight, and then he was talking about what he used to do with that one girl at practice, and then the other dude's like, I'm curiosity.
Yeah. Those movies are just so, they're so cheesy, they're so bad, but they're so good. Like you're like, oh, I grew up watching them, and you watch them now and you're like,
I cringe for every single one of these movies, not in like a bad way, just in general.
Well, yeah.
Like you just watch it, you're just like, like you just curl up into a ball a little bit.
One of my favorite things about the Bring It On like series though is that they were all about like, they really just dramatic, like it was drama everywhere. Like it was kind of like the Pitch Perfect thing where they like threw pitch in with every word, or like cheerocracy, like you said. Like it was just so stupid, but it was so funny. But then like girls can really be that way. They over dramatize, like I guess I can't use the right word, but you know what I mean. Like overdid it, but like it was really accurate. Like women are really dramatic. We are, unfortunately, and so we have that rep. And I think it's really funny. And they're really in tune with trends. They're really in tune with all kinds of that stuff. And I think it was really cool that they pulled that in. But then they also did like do the women empowerment kind of thing on there too. So it was kind of cool.
I think a big thing that I also really enjoyed was sort of like the turf war that they were having with the Clovers.
Yeah, I love that. Like, they have it with everyone.
Because like, you have Torrance, who's like just completely oblivious, and then you have the Clovers, who are aware of what's happening, and they still hate her for it, even though it's not her fault. And so you really see her like have this character development between like her relationship with Cliff and how she decides to address the Clovers, especially when she first hears when they don't go to nationals,
right?
Because they can't afford it. So like it's really cool to see her grow from the beginning of the movie of this dingy blonde, I guess is the best way to describe it, to her growing into this cheerleading captain. Like she's in her place, she's aware of what she is, and like she's more confident in herself, and like she's the way that she's dealing with society and how they're treating her.
I just love these movies in general. They're like,
I do.
God, they're so good. Trying to think, one of my favorite parts, I can't even really describe it, but it was just all around, it was just really good, and they included everyone, and I really liked the inclusivity that they had, and the more that they created, the better that they got, and they all had like that same heartwarming ending when they all came together. I thought it was cool.
So my movie is Miss Congeniality. Sorry, I messed that up pretty badly. Starring Sandra Bullock as Gracie Hart of the FBI. Has to go undercover as a contestant in the Miss United States pageant when the terrorist threatens to blow it up. Can she solve the case before it blows up in her face? Let's find out.
Emergency official business, ma'am.
Hey, get lost.
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? All right, I would like 8 double tall lattes, one with no foam.
Special Agent Gracie Hart is as tough as nails.
She's got a lot of rage.
And she's completely unpolished.
Honey, are you a lesbian?
Dad. I wish.
But when the FBI needs an undercover agent...
The bombers picked another target.
We have ourselves a national emergency.
It's the Miss United States pageant.
The only man for the job is a woman.
You do a few butt-shaping exercises, you tighten this up, you can pull this off.
You know what? Pull this off.
Let's go, girls.
These people want to put one of their agents in the pageant.
Do you have an agent in mind? Sorry.
She doesn't look the part.
There's no way on earth that I can make this woman ready in 2 days. She's Dirty Harriet.
She doesn't act the part.
Come on, have some midnight chow and some girl talk.
We can't have pizza and beer.
It's light beer, and she's gonna throw it up anyway.
She doesn't want the part.
I'm not gonna parade around in a swimsuit like some airhead bimbo.
Describe your perfect date.
I'd have to say April 25th.
But she's about to prove anything is possible.
I have gel in my hair. I haven't slept all night. I'm starved, and I'm armed. Don't mess with me. I'm fine.
This December.
You're doing a great job.
You think I'm cool? Just you wanna date me?
Get ready.
Gun! Gun! Everybody down!
For the new face of the FBI.
Of course he had a gun. This is Texas. Everybody has a gun. My Flores has a gun.
Miss Congeniality.
What is the one thing our society needs?
World peace. World peace. World peace.
Harsher punishment for parole violators, Stan.
And world peace.
This movie won Worst in Show. Also, our furthest date because it's April 10th, and that is today. How did you guys like this movie? Because I didn't like it at all.
This was definitely the bottom of my list. Like, out of the 3 for today, like, it didn't reach the bar that the other 2 gave.
The only thing I will say about it is that it's really cool because they make fun of women because, you know, we are like sometimes like the typical woman, like you would see her as ditzy or you would see her as not educated, but here you have Sandra Bullock's character, which is one thing I really liked about it, and she was like this awesome FBI agent and she got to like go undercover and stuff, so, and then she had to like dumb herself down on their, to get to their level, which I thought was really funny, but it's like another like one of the women empowerment things that I said before where she could rise above that. Like she, like obviously you don't have to be a beauty like pageant model, whatever. She can be like whatever she wants to be, and I think that's really cool because it sends a cool message. But you know,
who is the actor that plays Vic? I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name, but he's in a lot of stuff.
He's the main reason that I was so interested in this movie because I just wanted to see like what else he was gonna do because he's always casted in that sort of role of like kind of a pain. At the beginning, but like you end up loving him at the end.
Right.
And so like that's just one thing I love about that actor just in general because like he always carries the same charisma for all.
I loved that they had William Shatner in this too. They made me laugh so hard because I was like, he's very fitting for this because he's over dramatic, like, oh my God, hello. And I thought it was really, really funny that he was like, you know, the announcer for like, or the, what's it called, the MC for like the beauty pageant. I thought that was so funny to me because I was like, it's William Shatner, you know. He's over dramatic, and I think it's perfect. But yeah, I mean, like you said, he's the one who pulls this movie together, in my opinion. Because I'm like, I watched it for the guy too, Vic or whatever, and I was like, he's beautiful. Hello. I mean, why would you not want to watch it? You're like, let me get a cool partner like that.
I think. Sorry.
Oh, I'm surprised that this movie did as well as it did. I find it weird that. What's her name? Gracie. No one really cares or ever really gives her a chance until she becomes this beautiful woman. She can't exceed in the FBI. They look down on her. They see her compassion as weak, especially in the beginning. It's just, and then they only really care and like view her as a person when they can objectify her at the end. And I really didn't like that. I thought it was pretty weird.
It's an interesting way to look at it. I can definitely see that. I think that's really, but I think it was also like the other side of it was like, you know, she could do whatever she wanted to do. She didn't have to like stoop down to that level. But I mean,
to be fair, they kind of pushed her hand just a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
Like the one thing that, like, I guess the reason that this movie kind of sat in a weird spot for me is because, like, when people first meet her, like, they're just absolutely appalled by her. Like, they never gave her a chance from the beginning. And then second off, like, they make her completely reinvent herself, and then they proceeded to take her seriously once that happened. And even as an FBI agent, after she went through all that trouble, they still refused to take her seriously.
Which is why there's a sequel. The sequel's awful too.
Like, but like that's also a running theme in most of these movies is like the girl can't really do anything without the guy, and that is one thing that like I definitely do not like about 2000s movies, because like in Legally Blonde, it's like, oh, she went to Harvard for a guy, Miss Congeniality.
But let's save that for that one.
She can't become pretty without a guy. Bring it on. She can't cheer well without a guy. And like it's one theme that I absolutely despise about all of these movies, even though I do love the other movies.
Right. I mean, I think the reason it did so well is because Sandra Bullock is, you know, a wonderful actress, so people wanted to see that because she's got a huge fan base, number one. Number two, she can make any movie good, even if it's crappy. So I mean, I thought this movie was good because of Sandra Bullock. I mean, she is a brilliant actress, and she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's bringing to the plate. I think it does have a cool message where it's like, hey, you don't have to stoop to that level to be a ditzy woman with no education. Like, you can be educated and, you know, do whatever you want. And she's in the freaking FBI. That's awesome. Like, you go, girl, do that. And I thought that was pretty awesome. But I mean, like you said, they don't take her seriously. But that's a problem that we face today anyway. People don't take women seriously in higher roles.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think it's still an important like power message for everyone.
I think we're in a better place than it was before.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and avoid political topics.
I did like all the acting in here, though. I thought everybody did an excellent job. I thought the camera work was pretty well, especially for a 2000s movie. I was like, wow, that was actually pretty good. Especially the beginning when they're in the restaurant with the mobster. I was like, wow. I was like, that was pretty well. That was actually well shot.
Because the weirdest thing about this movie is like, if you tear apart the movie itself, there's no bad part. It's just not good.
Right.
Like when you put them all together, like camera work was super well. All the actors did amazing. Like everybody did. Like the movie itself should be amazing, but it's not. And I guess that's the most underwhelming part, is because like you see Sandra Bullock and she's doing an amazing job conveying this character of growth, and you see the guy who plays Vic, you see him grow as a character. Like you see all this great storyline, and then it's just
right. I mean, which is why, like I said, that's why they made a sequel. But I mean, I think sequels kind of ruin things anyway, but that's a whole other thing to get into. It depends on the movie for sure, but I mean, they did not need to make a sequel for Miss Congeniality. I thought they should have just left it alone. But like I said, I think it's got a funny story. It's a funny story. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's just one of those funny 2000s films where they're like, oh, women, oh, power, whatever. It's like a big question mark. Like, can we do that? So I mean, they did it, so I thought it was interesting, to say the least.
It's definitely cool to like go back and watch these films and see like how we've kind of grown as a society.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even then, like you see all these different roles having to be addressed. And like even then, like it still kind of makes you like, was that really where we were at that point?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know. But definitely the next movie really does challenge those roles.
Yes, it
quite
does.
a bit.
And in the 2001 film, directed by Robert Luketic, we follow the long journey of Elle Woods, played by the wonderful Reese Witherspoon, as she battles her ditzy behaviors and irrelevant knowledge of girly trends while she studies alongside her ex-boyfriend, Warner Huntington III, played by Matthew Davis, and his new fiancée, Vivian Kensington, played by the beautiful and wonderful Selma Blair, bless her soul, at Harvard Law School. They study the cold case of a murder that framed the famous celebrity Brooke Taylor, played by Allie Larder, as we see new relationships budding with Emmett, Luke, played by Luke Wilson, and friendships made with a lonely hairdresser named Paulette, played by Jennifer Coolidge. Let's take a look at Legally Blonde.
One of the reasons I wanted to come here tonight was to discuss our future.
Of course.
I plan on running for office someday.
Warner.
I think we should break up.
What?
Elle. If I'm gonna be a senator, I need someone serious.
I'm seriously in love with you.
I love you.
Liar! This is the type of girl that Warner wants to marry. A law student. Going to Harvard is the only way I'm going to get the love of my life back.
For my admissions essay,
Action.
I'm going to tell all of you why I'm going to make an amazing lawyer. I feel comfortable using legal jargon in everyday life. I object.
Her list of extracurricular activities is impressive.
She was in a Ricky Martin video.
Aren't we always looking for diversity?
Welcome to Harvard.
Don't be scared. Everyone will love you.
Elle? I'm sorry, are you here to see me?
I go here.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
I got a PhD from Berkeley.
MBA from Wharton. I've been deworming orphans in Somalia.
2 weeks ago, I saw Cameron Diaz at Fred Siegel, and I talked her out of buying this truly heinous Angora sweater.
Malibu Barbie lives.
I've come to join your study group.
Our group is full.
Oh, is this like an RSVP thing?
No, it's like a smart people thing. I give her 2 more weeks.
What is this?
We're betting to see how much longer you're gonna last.
You're not smart enough, sweetie.
I'll show you how valuable Elle Woods can be.
MGM Pictures presents.
Do you have a resume? It's pink.
And it's scented. I think it gives it a little something extra.
A comedy about knowing who you are.
Do you think she just woke up one morning and said, I think I'll go to law school today?
And showing what you've got.
We're defending Brooke Window. You can buy her exercise tips on infomercials.
Wait! Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't shoot their husbands.
You're fired.
What?
I have new representation.
Reese Witherspoon.
Do you remember when we spent those 4 amazing hours in the hot tub after winter formal? This is so much better than that!
Legally Blonde.
Oh, look how cute! There's like a judge and everything! Vote for Elle!
So did this movie pass the bar for you guys?
Absolutely. I love this movie. I've never seen it before, but it's so great. It's just wonderful. It's just a wonderful movie. It's just, I put it on and I was like, you know what? Do I really want to watch this? That's what I was thinking to myself. I sat down, I was doing other things, I was playing my guitar a little bit. I just kind of had it on for noise. And I was really getting into it. I actually had to stop and rewind it. And I was like, I got to really buckle down and watch this. And I'm glad I did. It was really great. I liked all the actors.
Yeah.
I loved...
Wonderful ensemble.
Yeah, it really was. I loved everyone in this movie. I loved how silly it took itself, It was great. It was probably my favorite movie off this whole list.
Honestly.
Same. Because, I cannot think of a better... actor pairing than Jennifer Coolidge and Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, first off, I love Jennifer Coolidge and just about anything that she does.
Of course, she's got one of those.
Absolutely
she's got a distinct voice. You just know it's her. You're like Aunt Fanny,
I keep thinking of her in Two Broke Girls, but that's besides the point. Because
but still, think of her in anything.
Yeah.
I just love any role that she's put in, and the role that she's given in this one, where she's kind of the awkward girl.
Yeah.
Is so much funny, especially when she bends and breaks the dude's nose.
Oh my gosh, Kyle, the UPS guy. It's such a good movie. I love what they did with it, and not to mention they had a sequel, and the sequel was actually pretty good. I watched it a long time ago. I love this entire storyline because it's this ditzy girl who she didn't really pay her way, but she sent a video. It was like, hey, I should go to Harvard. Take me, please. And they took her, and they were like, why not? Let's just go out on a limb. So they accepted her, and she has no credentials really. I mean, she just is in a sorority. That's it. I don't even think she's in the sorority. She's almost like the house mother. It feels like, but. She goes to Harvard to follow her boyfriend, or now ex-boyfriend, who left her because he didn't take her seriously, and he was like, I want to be a political figure, kind of thing. And then she goes to Harvard and finds that he's already engaged to someone else, and she's like, wait, what? And so then it kind of pushes her because she doesn't do well in any of the classes. The professors hate her, so then it kind of pushes her, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it for myself. And it was the best women empowerment movement you could ever do, I think. And then they turned it into a musical, and it's just as good. It's so good. And all I can think about are the song names, No One Takes Her Serious, that's a good song. And then like, even just like the cold case that they have to solve is so fun, because I was also in the musical at my high school, and I played Chetney Wyndham, played by Linda Cardellini. Very fitting, I guess. I had the perm and all. So it was such a fun thing. I love it. It's so much fun.
I also love like the extreme power move that she makes whenever she takes on Brooke Taylor's case.
Right.
Like, you've got to have like confidence to be able to walk up to the place that you just quit, up to a judge and like, yeah, I'm taking her case, and win. And she with her knowledge, with the knowledge that she has,
because like she has all this knowledge about stuff that she's like, oh, orange really isn't in. It's pink. Pink is always in. And someone said that orange was in. She's like, no, it's wrong. And then like she takes all this knowledge and she helps Paulette, get Kyle. Like even though it didn't work out the first time around, but it worked out eventually. And then like she takes all this knowledge, and then she finds out that the guy, the pool boy, who is like saying that he was in a relationship with Brooke, she was like, he's gay. Like, he's got to be. Like, it's just so funny because you're like, she went out on a limb and like accused him of it, and then you're like, you can't do that. And he was like, yeah, I am. And it's just so funny because
he did say yeah. And he was like, just a friend, and then his boyfriend's like, you beat. And I was like,
I think
what is going on?
In the musical too, and it's so funny because you're like, oh my gosh, because they're like, oh well, he could just be European,
Yeah.
Like, he could just be, because the Europeans have a very unique style, so it's kind of hard to determine sometimes. But I think it's just so fun. It's such a fun movie. Like, anyone who watches it is like, I don't want to watch it. It's just so girly, but it's fun. It's funny. It's not supposed to be super duper girly. It's lighthearted.
One thing that kind of stood out is like for two of the movies that we used, they approached the LGBTQ topic.
Right.
Because with Bring It On, it's like, oh, like I'm curious, like he's kind of gay. But then in Legally Blonde, you have your client who's gay.
Right.
So like at that point, I was like, why is it more of an obvious thing in the 2000s?
Right.
And not in today's movies.
Right. Another thing that I really liked about Legally Blonde that I didn't even think about till right now, the sexual harassment take that they had on it when Professor Callahan like threw himself at Reese Witherspoon, like Elle Woods, and then he fired her, and then she came back and was like, no, you're fired because what you did to me, because it was unfair, because he was trying to take that power move, and it was like, no. I liked what they did with that because it's a really sensitive topic now, and they turned it and made her rise up. So I thought that was really cool.
I really like that. I forgot who the associate was. It was the guy who had faith in her from like day one.
Right.
Emmett.
Yeah.
So I really liked that he like staked his career on everything too. And I also love the idea that like she went to Harvard to get a boyfriend, and she definitely walked out with a fiance and a law degree.
Like power move, totally.
Like she went there for one reason and walked out with a whole different one.
Exactly. And then like in the end, like all the professors like respect her and stuff. It's such a like heartwarming thing.
Except for Callahan.
Except for Callahan, but he got what he deserved in the end because he really didn't end up with anything.
Although I think it did very much take like a sort of 80s vibe at the very end when it was like Emmett proposed to her that night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like Warner is alone by himself with no job. Yeah. I was like, okay.
And I liked the women empowerment thing too with Vivian and Elle Woods becoming friends in the end. I was like, yes, girl, yes. That's what you're supposed to do.
Because in movies nowadays, they don't even do that. Like if they're evil to each other, they're evil to each other for the entire movie.
And that's like not realistic. Like you want to be cool with each other. You don't want to hate each other,
Yeah, definitely.
You don't want to hate each other almost as much as I hate puppets.
Speaking of puppets, next week we will have a puppet episode and we'll talk about Team America, Country Bears, and the Muppets. So tune in next week and we'll see you.